Hey yo, what's going on everyone? Sam here from Lake Pro Tackle. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Wanted to get this video out there. We've got a bunch of cool stuff happening at the shop. Of course, if you haven't heard, SBS show, the Small Business Showcase, March 21st and 22nd will be going on. We're very excited. Of course, I'm gonna put the banner on the screen here, but we're gonna have free food, free drinks, raffles, giveaways. We're gonna have a bunch of really cool stuff at this show. So I want you to come by, check out and support the small businesses that come to the show. Again, a lot of these are not going to be vendors we actually currently carry in store. So the dual purpose of this show is hopefully finding those vendors that work well in the shop here. You know, just really good guys. I want to meet a bunch of the small businesses around us and hopefully support them. And of course, for the consumers that want to come, definitely check out some of the neat stuff we already have. Check out the small vendors, small businesses, and we will have some in-store tackle discounts as well. So make sure to check those out. But the purpose of this video, we just got a load of a ton of hard to get and hard to find P5 rods from Megabass. We're gonna be going over each of these, kind of talk about some techniques that I like to use on them and some just general application things. But make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video. We've got some new baits that we're gonna be going over. So let's kick it off. You know, probably the #1 BFS specific rod in the shop here that we sell is going to be this guy right here, the Pop X stick. Now the Pop X stick, you know, it's made for a Pop X generally. So this is going to have a little more good full parabolic bend on it. Again, this is going to be an amazing kind of just really good BFS style rod. This is an F1 power. So this being a 1 power is going to be very light. It's not made for really anything, I'm gonna say over like maybe 3/8, quarter of an ounce. So the rating on this one is 1/8 of an ounce up to 1 ounce, which is actually pretty freaking impressive because I would say like 1/2 ounce is probably the max I would ever probably put on this rod. Personally, Pop X stick, 6'3". Again, the Pop X Karashi's is also an amazing bait to throw on this. Throwing all your general smaller like true BFS stuff on this can be absolutely incredible, and I would definitely pair this up with maybe like a PXBF. If you've got a BFS specific reel, definitely do that, and some ultralight braided line to possibly a leader. Again, F1 6'3", the Pop X stick, one of my personal favorites. Moving along, we've got this one right here. Let's actually do this one. This one is probably my personal favorite in the P5 lineup. So this is the Z Crank LZL. So this one is not the most popular overall. From a lot of P5 fans and a lot of Megabass fans, this Z Crank here is not the most popular. I actually love it for a wide array of applications when it comes to throwing a crankbait. Of course, throwing the Super Z Crank series, it is absolutely incredible. However, I think this rod excels at throwing crankbaits just slightly bigger than those Z Cranks. It has enough limberness in it to where it can take some of those bigger crankbaits like a DT8, DT10, the new DT12, as well as some of those lipless style baits like a TN60, TN70, and LV150. Those are all incredible on this rod. Now, I know a lot of people will say it's a little bit duller action and it's a lot slower than most. I will give it that. It is a little bit duller. It is not your bottom contact specific rod. Again, this is throwing crankbaits, treble hook baits. You can even throw some smaller style spinner baits on this and it's not really an issue. Coming in at 7 foot, 3.5 power. Again, this is probably my personal favorite P5. It's easy to maneuver around. It's got this shorter style handle on the back here. So just like a lot of the blue series or green series in the P5 lineup, you're able to make those really tight casts without much issue. So personal favorite of mine, the Z Crank. So let's move on to the next one in the powers here. So one of the more popular American style jerkbait rods is the 110 Special. The JDM, I would say JDM version would be the 110 stick. So the 110 Special has a lot more beef behind it. This is actually an f4.5. This one has much more snap. So unlike that Z crank and unlike a lot of the other rods in the moving bait category, this one has a lot more snap comparable to something in the green, something like a Blade or a Deimos. This one, again, in that US lineup of P5. But this one here, again, pretty soft tip, about 25% down, and then you get into some like real backbone. So when it comes to like finesse flipping, like a little Texas rig or something like that, this rod can definitely do it. When it comes to like smaller free rigs, this rod can definitely do it. But again, this was made for a jerkbait specific setup, like a 110 plus 1, 110, not quite 110 junior, not quite 110 junior plus 1. But when it comes to your average jerkbait, like a re-range or even like a Rudra, something like that, something smaller in that like ½ ounce to maybe 5/8 ounce, this rod definitely handles it big time. Again, that blank or that tip is decently soft at the top portion, but does stiffen up quite a bit in the back. This is one of my personal favorites all around for jerkbaits. And when it comes to, again, throwing the lighter stuff, I typically go with a 110 stick, which is actually much shorter and much more limber. Climbing up to the f5.5, probably the fan favorite for bottom contact free rigs and almost do-it-all stuff. This is the X-Bites. This one right here, 7'2". It is the utility rod of the Megabass P5 lineup. Now you can do a lot of different things on this. You can throw a more reactive style rattle trap or chatterbait around grass. Again, this rod has a lot more snap. This is in the yellow category. So this tip portion, it is decently soft and it's very, very snappy. The blank is very fast, very reactive, and it has a good amount of backbone. So throwing those 3/8 ounce jackhammers, throwing those bigger lipless crankbaits like an LV500, this will be able to rip it out of the grass without having to do the whole like double-handed, just whipping it, you know, that way you can keep contact on that bait. This one here specifically, I really do like it for the bottom contacts, dragging a little finesse jig. I think it's a little overpowered what they say it is. You know, I typically won't go above ½ ounce on this one. This one here is rated for up to 1 ounce. So you do what you want to do. I think when it comes to like the ounce rating, it's typically more for those moving style baits. But again, I am always impressed by the P5 lineup, their resiliency, as well as their overall ability to just go along and just perform. So next up, this one back in stock. This is a 7-foot rod. This is coming in at an F7 power. This guy is the Tequila Back Rack. Now, this one right here is very, very impressive for many reasons. The Tequila Back Rack is kind of known as like that premier short swim bait rod when it comes to like Citizens, like single hook swim baits, as well as glide baits. You know, I know a lot of people out there have thrown those 2 to 3 ounce glide baits on this, and it handles it just fine. It's rated up to 4 ounces. Again, 7 foot. You're able to make those tight casts, especially around timber and stuff like that. This rod here is also double-footed all the way up. So you've got double-footed guides going all the way. And then this one right here specifically as well, it's just built with a ton more power. It is closer to that orange zone in the Megabass lineup. Again, up to 4 ounces, guys. This is a great rod around vegetation, tules, timber, to get those fish out of there. If you're flipping big jigs, throwing bigger things like that, this is a rod you want to try. So whenever you move up in hook size, this is the rod you want to do it. I really like the extra long foregrip here. You're going to see the cork section is a little bit elongated, and the overall back section here is just built to perform under heavy stress. Moving along to the final one. Actually, we might have another one that's coming back in stock. The BMG, I think, is out of stock. So we do have another BMG in the shop right now if you're looking for those. But this one right here is probably the most asked about spinning rod in the P5 lineup. This is the Windbuster, coming in at F3.5, 7'2". The Windbuster has become the utility rod. This one right here is going to be that do it all. You can throw moving baits, you can throw just single hook baits, you can throw treble hook baits. I mean, guys, you can do literally anything you want on this rod. Being in the blue category slash like green category, this one has a good amount of almost full not parabolic bend, but it has a good full action running through the rod. It does have a good amount of power in the last section, but this rod for free rigs, for Texas rigs, for shaky heads, literally just about anything, drop shots, Nico rigs as well in some cases and instances, this can be extremely, extremely effective for those. I don't personally have a ton of time on this Windbuster here, but in terms of comparing this rod to other ones in the series, like the Addermine that I've used a lot of the X10 spinning, like the Medusa and stuff like that. This rod right here is absolutely incredible. It is feather light. It feels like very, very well balanced for the amount of power it has, and the handle isn't super, super long. So I know a lot of kayak guys, as they look for a rod and they want to stay in like the Megabass lineup or stay in that high-end lineup, this handle isn't ultra, ultra long, so it's still 7'2", but you're getting all that extra distance with that extra length at the tip section there. So those are restocked P5 Megabass rods. We're very excited to get those in, and I want to share a few baits with y'all. So if you are looking for Sakamata shad, we do have a few more of these here, color 31, so this is going to be like that sight flash color. We do have the 5-inch still in stock. This is going to be a great one for muddy water. You can throw it on chatterbait, grass piece, grass puzzle, lots of stuff like that. But these are what I really wanted to tell y'all about. These guys right here are Jackal Jimmy hinges. Now, going in line with the fuzzy dice style category baits, you're going to see a lot of these when it comes to the sight fishing. So these have not been really talked about or exposed yet in the industry, and I highly, highly expect these to really go on a lot of people's radars. I've had a lot of questions from a bunch of pros asking me about the Jimmy hinge. Now, let's go ahead and talk about it. We will start overall, talk about the anatomy of the Jimmy hinge with the King. Now, the King is a much bigger size. This is going to be the biggest size they have. It fits almost entirely in the palm of my hand here. This guy right here is elastomer material. It is salted. It does have scent, and it doesn't smell bad, which is nice. It doesn't smell like gross shrimp stuff. So the way guys are rigging this right now, just like your standard kind of like Nico rig setup for the fuzzy dice, the koi and stuff, you can do that as well with like an RPZ. However, what makes the Jimmy hinge very lifelike and very easy to use is what you need to do is stick a nail weight in the top right here straight down, and in this little belly button area on the bait, you can stick your hook right through there, right through that. Again, it is elastomer, so it does not break easy. If you want, you can add a screw lock in there. You just have to heat it up. Again, this is elastomer, so the screw lock won't easily, screw into it. So all you have to do is get your hook straight through the belly button, add your nail weight, and you're gonna fish this just like you would a koike or any other fuzzy dice style bait. This one here, again, going to be a little more reactive, so weight it down to where it kind of sinks like a slow sinking jerk bait, work it around just the same. Now, we have two other sizes in the Jimmy hinges. So the King that I just showed you comes in a pack of 2. Now, these other ones here both come in a pack of 5. So the Jimmy hinge, Jimmy hinge 50 and the 42, again, going to correspond with their, corresponding millimeter lengths. So, that thing is slippery. It has got some oil, got some fish juices on it, I guess, something like that. Check that out. So these, Tim has a little funny name with them. I won't name it on camera, but they kind of look like a little hermit crab, I guess. But oh my gosh, these suckers are so slippery. you're gonna do the same thing. You're just gonna add a little nail weight in there. And we do have some new nail weights in the shop from Jackal as well. These are going to be the Jackal hammer nails, and they were made for the Jimmy hinge. You know, they are much bigger lead style nail weights that go up to like 1/4 ounce or something like that. So you can easily weight some of these bigger elastomer style plastics that are coming out nowadays. So new products uploaded to the system, the Jimmy hinge, the hammer nail. We've got the restock on the Megabass P5 rods, and I hope everyone in the local area here, or if you want to make the drive out, make it a weekend, guys. Come to the SBS show, the Small Business Showcase, on March 21st, 22nd. Again, free food, giveaways, door prizes, bunch of cool things, and be on the lookout for more information like that. If you are a small business and you are watching this video, please shoot me an email, info@lakeprotackle.com. And in the form I'm going to send you, you're going to send me information on some of the product ranges you carry. You're going to send me information on what days you can make it. And hopefully we can get everything balanced out. This is going to be a very informal, formal event where you're not gonna get like a humongous booth space. If you're a vendor here, I want you, or I need you, to bring your own table. If you don't mind sharing a small table with someone else, bring your own table, like a 6-foot table, 4-foot table, set up, bring products you are proud of, you think have just that innovation factor. You're gonna talk to customers. We've got a ton of amazing people in the Lake Pro Tackle fam that I know will come up, make this show a humongous success for y'all. So again, small businesses, reach out, info@lakeprotackle.com. Excuse me, I didn't say .com, info@lakeprotackle.com. And let's make it happen. I'm very excited. Guys, make sure to check out Megabass P5, links below, Jimmy hinges, links below, and all the new product. Guys, we're letting you know on the Instagram and Facebook at Lake Pro Tackle. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Let me know, guys. We've got a bunch of cool stuff. We'll see you in the next video. See ya.